اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. We are going through the blessed month of Ramadan at the moment, and as usual, we are presenting the dars of the traditions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And in today's dars, Imam Sahib says that he wishes to mention that the Prophet ﷺ has written in his books that for us Allah has granted three means of attaining guidance. The first and the most important and the most authoritative is the word of Allah, which is the Holy Quran. Each word of it is revealed, so this should be recited extensively, especially in the month of Ramadan, and there should be great vigilance in reciting the Quran. And the second form of guidance, as described by the Prophet ﷺ, is the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. That is how the Holy Prophet ﷺ lived his life in different circumstances, and how he guided others to act, to follow these is his Sunnah. And the third form of guidance is the Hadith, which are those words that the Holy Prophet ﷺ spoke, either in the presence of companions or at other occasions. So the instructions he gave were remembered by the companions, and then they conveyed it to others until such time as they were collected by the people who wrote the books of traditions. So these three means of guidance are able to guide us properly towards Allah. Imam Sahib is saying is the book he is going to refer to today is called Nibrasul Mu'mineen, which has traditions to do with various different circumstances, because we go through different needs and circumstances in our lives, and these traditions are such that guide us from different aspects and different situations in our lives. Imam Sahib is saying in the first of these traditions, the Holy Prophet ﷺ mentioned, and this is written in the book of traditions called Bukhari, which is one of the most authentic books of traditions. So in this tradition, the Holy Prophet ﷺ expressed his dislike for sleeping before Isha prayer and to talk unnecessarily after Isha prayer. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ's own manner was that he would prefer to sleep quickly after Isha prayers, so he could wake up quickly, early, for not only Fajr prayer but also for Tahajjud prayer. Imam Sahib says that sometimes this weakness is seen, that even after the prayers of Isha, people sit and talk to each other, and sometimes this can continue to past midnight, and people spend their time in these needless talk, and as a result of that, one is not able to sleep properly at night, and then they cannot have the capacity to wake up early in the morning. So this style and manner of the Holy Prophet ﷺ should be remembered, that we should adopt the method of sleeping quickly after Isha prayer. And it should also be remembered that one should not sleep before Isha, and then not talk unnecessarily after Isha prayer. I'm saying that I've already said what the benefits of this is, and this should be remembered not only in the month of Ramadan, but also in other days as well. Of course, you can speak if there is some necessary need, but to talk for a long time and lengthy conversations which makes one's attention diverted towards not sleeping, and this should be avoided because it can result in one not being able to wake up for Fajr prayers. The next tradition Imam Sahib wishes to present today is that the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that every one of a martyr's sins are forgiven by Allah except loans which he is supposed to pay someone back. So if someone has not paid back a loan, then this burden will go with him to the Day of Judgment, and this is not forgiven. So this is one. Imam Sahib is saying that sometimes one, for certain reasons, has to take a loan, but one should inculcate the habit of trying to keep within one's means, and so that one should not take a loan. But sometime, or in some extreme need, there is sometimes an occasion arises where one takes a loan. So at such occasions, one should always remember that one should be aware that one is owing the money, and one should try to pay it off as soon as possible, and one should try not to make unnecessary delay in it. And if there is a set time appointed for the repayment of the loan, then which is according to the Holy Quran, we should set the time of a repayment. And here in this tradition it says that if one takes a loan, we should pay it back. And enjoining this, the Holy Prophet ﷺ reminds us in this tradition that a martyr's sins are forgiven. A martyr is one who sacrifices his life in the path of Allah in order to attain the pleasure of Allah, and he sacrifices his life but does not sacrifice his belief in Allah, and this has a great rank, a very high status in heaven is granted to such people. But it should also be remembered that although this is the status and the rank of a martyr, and each one of his sins are forgiven because of this one good deed, that he sacrificed his life for the sake of Islam. But there is one exception in this, and this should be acted upon. It must be remembered that the word illa then, except for loans, these loans that he has taken from someone and has not paid back, this is something which is not forgiven, because that is to do with human relations. If one takes a loan from someone, then its return is an obligation on the person. So if it is unpaid, it is not forgiven. So all the other sins are forgiven of a martyr, illa then, except for loan. So this tradition is very brief, but it has a great warning in it, that if someone does not pay back the loans he has taken, then this is a burden that goes with him to the next life. And when one takes a loan, then one will be answerable for it. No, even if one sacrifices one's life, that is his most valuable possession in the path of Allah, and this is an incredible act of piety that he adopts, which increases his rank infinitely, and his status in heaven keeps on increasing. But at the end of this hadith, it tells us that except for a loan, so for him this forgiven will be limited. So this is something that we should always remember, that first of all, we should try to refrain from taking a loan. We should try to remain within one's means, and this should be our habit, that he should never try not to borrow any money from anyone. This is better for him. But if he does take a loan, then he should try to pay it back completely, so that this loan does not become a burden for him. And when his time comes, that is when he dies, he should be able to go before Allah when he has fulfilled his responsibilities properly, and he paid back any loans that he has taken during his life. May Allah grant us the capacity to act in accordance with the teachings of Islam and completely. Ameen summa ameen.